Welcome. Today I'm going to be going through how to search and navigate in the CACTAS system. First, you enter CACTAS through My Access. Once you're within CACTAS, you'll have multiple tabs up here at the top. These tabs can be customizable to your needs. In order to customize them, go over to the right where you can see a little pencil. Click on that, and that'll allow you to edit your top tabs. I would recommend adding the CACTAS search tab. Agreements should already be defaulted there. And then the other options you may want to have is accounts, reports, dashboards, depending on your needs. If those don't show up for you, just click Add More Items and search for them, or in Show All, you either can scroll through or type in to find the specific items that you want. There are multiple ways to search within CACTAS. First, you can use the top search, general search field. So up here at the top search field. When you click into the field, it's going to give you a drop-down option where you can select different objects. That's how Salesforce refers to different items. There are different objects. So one object that we have is agreements. These agreements are what you think of a CACTAS record. So the CA number that you're used to looking at, or the CA, or if you're new, the CA number is really the CACTAS record that will have all the information regarding a specific action. So if you're looking for a specific CACTAS record, you can narrow it down to just be searching agreements. Accounts are sponsors. So if you're looking for a specific sponsor, you can search by that sponsor name. If you're looking for something that's going to be in a file or a folder, you also can narrow it down to those choices. I'd say majority of the time, you're going to be selecting agreements because you're here to look at CACTAS records. So I'm going to select agreements. And now as I start the search, it's really going to be looking just within agreement fields. So for example, if I know the P number or I know the A number, then I can put in that number. So let's just put in a sample P number. And as I type it in, it's going to ask me, I'm going to show more results. You can really type anything in here that is a field within the CACTAS record. So if it exists on the CACTAS record, then it's searchable here. So here are going to be my results for the P number. It's really, we are limited to these top columns for kind of results. You can move them around to show more. So kind of, auto made it smaller for awards. These happen to be in my training record, so there's not a lot that have been awarded, but they you can also search by A number. You can sort by any of these columns, and you can open any of the records by clicking on the CA number. Another option you can do is searching for words that might appear in agreement. So for example, if you're looking for a carryover record, I can type in carryover. And it's going to give me all the records that have the word carryover in it. Now, one thing you'll notice is that you're not going to see carryover listed in any of the results because that's not one of the result fields. But if I were to click on one of these items, I should be able to see carryover somewhere within that record. So I'm going to click on this example. And I'm going to scroll down and I can see, oh, carryover is the correspondence type. So that's why this showed up as a result for carryover. I go back, I can get back to my results, and I can refine it more if I want. So maybe I have a very specific, put in carryover again. And let's say we want to narrow it down to a very specific type. So here I can look at very specific fields to refine it by. So maybe I want to have only correspondence as my action type. So then I can narrow it down to correspondences. Maybe I have a specific PI I'm looking for. So it's another way to kind of narrow down your search results. I think this is a really helpful way to kind of look at a way to search for items. A second way you can search is by using the CACTAS search tab. We go to the CACTAS search tab. It allows you to differentiate between CACTAS agreement records. So those are CNG and ICD record types. Those are the records that are going to represent, new awards coming in and correspondences. We also have outgoing subcontracts that also have records within CACTAS, but they have its own page layout and format. And so it's a different record type. So we just have multiple record types. So this will allow you to search either by the CNG and ICD record types or by the subcontract record type. If I switch between them, you'll see just that my search options vary and also what displays varies. As you start typing in a field, it's going to start giving you search results based on what you've put into that field. So it's called dynamic searching. So it's going to start giving you it as you type. You can fill in more than one field at a time. You don't have to completely put in all the information. If you just type NIH, you'll get any sponsor name that has NIH in that field. As you can see, you can do multiple fields and it'll narrow it down further. It always defaults to displaying 50 records at a time. If you want more than 50 records, you just need to scroll. And as you scroll, more records will appear. So as you can see now, I'm up to 53. And it stopped because there might just be only 53 records based on what I've searched for here. So the primary analyst negotiator will be the OSR staff member who's been assigned that record. So if you know who that is, you can search by that. Otherwise, you can search by the principal investigator. So as I delete it, it's now going to just search by sponsor for NIH. But now maybe I want to search by a specific PI. I can then type that PI name in. Now it's going to give me anybody that has the name. So if I put CAR, it's going to give me principal investigators that have CAR and so forth. I can write it out even more. So if I wanted to get a full name, you would do first name and last name. Instead of last name, comma, first name, because that's how it's displayed in the principal investigator field. You do first name and last name. But as I mentioned, you can also just do part of the record and it should still show anybody that has kind of that as part of their name. Let's now open up a CACTAS record and see what the actual CACTAS record looks like. Here is an agreement record. So this is the actual CACTAS record. At the top, you can see there's some summary information that provides you some detail about the specific record. So what is the action? Why are we doing this CACTAS record? In this case, if it says new, that means this is a new award, as the PI, sponsor, and what is the current status. We have two columns. We have the main body that provides details about what the action in the record. And then on the right, we have at the top here, intake form and documentation. This is where we document our compliance checks and the other checks we have to do in order to complete the action. So in this case, if it's a new award and it involves human subjects, we need to make sure we have an IRB protocol in place. So the fact that this says need means we've reached out to the PI, we've asked them for the IRB protocol, and we're waiting for that to get approved and sent back to us. You'll see the compliance doc request date over here in the main body. That's the date we sent the request to the PI to collect that data. And once we receive it back, we'll change the form status to have, and we can update, once we have all the compliance in place, we'll update the status to compliance docs completed and with the completed date. So here are all the different options of the type of compliance checks that may be required. Not every item is required for every project. So it really depends on the project and the needs of the project. But you can see kind of what is being weighted on by the OSR staff based on what's kind of highlighted and raised to the top with need. Over here in the main body of the details, there's summary information on the project. So the PI, title, department, the purpose, agreement type, action. Again, action is for this specific CACTAS record. And then over on the right column here, it has dates. So you can track the dates. And this is really what informs the status. So first received date is when do we start working on this project? Compliance docs request and completed. If we have to request a compliance, you'll be able to see from the intake forms what has been requested and what has been completed. If negotiations are required, when do those start and end? We have to send something to the sponsor or receive something back. Those are those two categories. You see a date in the award setup queue. That means OSR has completed their review and acceptance of the award and has now passed it on to Contracts and Grants Accounting, or CGA, in the controller's office to complete the award setup in PeopleSoft or RAS and to create the award profile or add to award profile if this is not for a new award. So when you see a date award in RAS, that means it's kind of with CGA. You can see who's been assigned in CGA down here in the CGA analyst field. Once they complete the record in RAS, they'll update the date awarded in RAS, and that will change the status to completed. So all these fields just provide additional information about the project. Here, it will be who's assigned. So the primary analyst negotiator is the individual who's assigned to work this action. A current analyst owner might be somebody who's also working on the project. And then the primary RC is the individual who's assigned to the PI, who's working kind of with that PI across multiple portfolios. Each record should have a folder assigned to it. That folder contains all the documents that's related to the project, not just to this action. So you'll see that in the folder, there'll be multiple documents and they'll have different CA numbers in the description. That just indicates which CACTAS record it was uploaded in. So if you want to learn more about that action, you can go to that specific CACTAS number and see all the fields there. Also, you can download or view a document. Do that by clicking on this side arrow, and you can either view or download. If you view, it'll give you a preview. You still can download from the screen, or you can look to see if there's additional file details. For example, if there's more than one version, it would be uploaded here. So here is one that only has one version, but if there are multiple versions, they'd be viewed there. You can see when I do click on that, it opens it up in a new tab. So I can go back to the agreements tab and go back to that record. Actually, if I had just, it actually opened it in a new. So if I had just clicked back, it'll take me back here to my record and I can view or download. If you click on this hyperlink, it's just going to take you to information about the file, but there won't be a place for you to download the file from this screen. Really, only place you can download the file is from this agreements screen under this kind of folder area. You also can click on the folder and see more information about all the CACTAS records for this project. So here are all the agreements that are related to this folder and all of the files. But once again, the only place you can actually view or download is back in that agreements page. So even here, it's just allowing you to kind of edit and look. And most of you might not have access to do all of these things. So what you can view in the download arrow will vary depending on your activist type, but anybody who has read access should be able to view or download the file from this screen. So once again, I'm on the actual CACTAS agreement record screen. Additionally, on this field over here to the right panel, underneath the intake form and documentation is where any emails will be located. So if there is an email attached, it would be here for you to view. We also can add tasks or calls, but any kind of emails that are associated with this project would be listed here. Finally, once again, these are just different fields that will provide information. Down here, the award setup notes. This is information that either is going to be important to kind of setting up the project, information that CGA used to set up the project, and over here to the right is COI status. So OSR will request COI review from the COI office when required, and they will come and change the status to completed. So one option is COI review requested. If it's COI review requested, then it really is in the office of the COI court, and once they complete their review, they'll come and change the COI status to completed. The Office of Sponsored Research will not accept an award until the COI status is either completed or exempt. There are a few sponsors that are exempt from COI. At the very bottom, you can see the last modified date and who last modified it. You want to be able to track to see kind of when different items have been worked on. In this related tab, you'll be able to see some agreement history. So this just provides some of the different actions that have been taken. So when statuses change or when it's first created, they'll get marked here. And this agreements is just if there's any related agreements. So we can link a couple CACTAS records together and that will link them as related agreements. Thank you for joining me today as we did a brief overview of search and the format of the CACTAS record.